Hello dear students, welcome to lecture 2 on the chapter electromagnetic induction. Students, in the last lecture we discussed on the experiments of Faraday and Henry, and with the help of those experiments the definition of electromagnetic induction was given. In this lecture we are going to discuss on magnetic flux, then we will be discussing Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, and finally we will be discussing Lenz's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, now let us discuss these points one by one. Magnetic flux. Okay, let us understand what is magnetic flux. Okay, we define magnetic flux as same as electric flux, which we have studied in chapter number 1, that is electric charges and fields. For this I am going to consider this diagram, that is these lines represents magnetic field and these lines are called as magnetic field lines. What are magnetic field lines? These are the imaginary lines which represent magnetic field. And if I consider a plane somewhere here, we see that these lines are crossing that surface. They are crossing, they are traveling, or they are passing through the surface. Now with the help of this we are going to define magnetic flux. That means the line passing through a given surface, the line magnetic field lines passing through a given surface is called magnetic flux. Okay, now let us see the definition of magnetic flux. The total number of magnetic field lines passing normally through a given area is called as magnetic flux. What is magnetic flux then? The total number of magnetic field lines passing normally through a given area is called magnetic flux. Okay, in this case magnetic field lines are not perpendicular. They are making some angle with the plane of the surface. They are making some angle with the plane of the surface. That is, they are not normal but they are inclined. Now let us try to give the expression for magnetic flux. Okay, this is the surface and magnetic field lines are making some angle with the perpendicular of the surface. Okay, it is making angle theta. Then here we can resolve this magnetic field into two components. One normal component or perpendicular component to the surface, that is b cos theta. Another one parallel component, that is b sin theta. Okay, here the magnetic field is making some angle theta with the normal of the surface. Therefore we are resolving this magnetic field into its rectangular components. Okay, one is b cos theta, that is normal to the surface. Other one is b sin theta, that is parallel to the surface. Now magnetic flux is equal to, that means we are going to express magnetic flux mathematically. It is equal to normal component of magnetic field into surface area, into surface area. Okay, what is normal component of magnetic field? B cos theta, that is d phi is equal to b into cos theta into ds. And this I can write it as vector b dot vector ds. Here vector ds represents area vector. It represents area vector which is perpendicular to the surface. Okay, this is the expression for magnetic flux, and this expression is for small surface area. Suppose if I consider total surface area, then total magnetic flux is equal to integration of magnetic flux or d phi. That means if you divide the whole surface into smaller one, we get d phi, and if you add all those, then we get total magnetic flux. Okay, that I am expressing in terms of integration. That is equal to integration of b cos theta into ds. Here magnetic field is constant. Magnetic field is constant, and even angle, if I consider angle is constant, then what is changing here? ds is changing. Therefore integration is applied for ds. That is equal to b cos theta into integration of ds. Integration of ds is nothing but total surface area. That is equal to b into cos theta into a. Therefore this is equal to BA into cos theta. Okay, with the help of this expression, we can find magnetic flux, or we can write it as phi is equal to vector B dot vector A. Vector B dot vector A, where B is magnetic field and A is area and phi is magnetic flux. Okay, this is the mathematical expression for magnetic flux. Okay, next, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, in the last session, we discussed about experiments performed by Faraday and Henry. Okay, these observations were formulated in the form of law, and that law is called Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, now let us see the statement of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. The magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit is equal to the time rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. That is, E is equal to minus d phi divided by dt. Okay, let me repeat statement once again. The magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit is equal to the time rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit, and mathematically it is given by E is equal to minus d phi divided by dt. Here negative sign indicates the direction of induced EMF. Explanation for this: if the magnetic flux linking with a closed loop changes from phi1 to phi2 in time interval dt, then the rate of change of magnetic flux is equal to phi2 minus phi1 divided by dt, that is equal to d phi divided by dt. Okay, here phi1 is initial magnetic flux and phi2 is final magnetic flux, and the change in magnetic flux is given by phi2 minus phi1. If E is the magnitude of induced EMF, then E is equal to minus d phi divided by dt. Here negative sign indicates the direction of induced EMF. If there are n number of turns in the coil, then the total EMF is given by E equal to minus n into d phi divided by dt. Here, if there are n number of turns, then the total EMF induced in the coil is given by this expression. Okay, by this expression, we can say that we can increase induced EMF by increasing the number of turns in the coil. Okay, this is the explanation for Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, next, Lenz's law. In 1834, German physicist H.F. Lenz studied on electromagnetic induction, and he gave the polarity of induced EMF, and he gave the rule to find the polarity of induced EMF, and that rule is called Lenz's law. Okay, now let us see the statement. The polarity of the induced EMF is such that it tends to produce a current which opposes the change in magnetic flux that produced it. The polarity of induced EMF which is produced in the coil is such that it tends to produce the current which opposes the change in magnetic flux that produced it. That means if the flux linked with coil increases, the induced current opposes the increase of change in magnetic flux. If the flux linked with the coil decreases, the induced current opposes the decrease of magnetic flux. Okay, that is the meaning of this statement. Mathematically, it is given by E equal to minus d phi divided by dt. The negative sign indicates that EMF induced will be in such a way that it opposes the change in magnetic flux, which is the reason behind the induced EMF. Now explanation for Lenz's law. Okay, we are going to explain Lenz's law by using Faraday's coil and magnet experiment. Consider a coil and a magnet. The north pole of the magnet is facing towards the coil. Now the magnet is at stationary, hence there is no change in magnetic flux. Okay, if there is no change in magnetic flux, no current is induced in the coil. Further, when north pole of the magnet is moved towards the coil, then there is increase in the magnetic flux linked with the coil. And due to this change in magnetic flux or increasing change in magnetic flux induces a current in the coil. Induces a current in the coil, and that current is called induced current. And according to Lenz's law, induced EMF opposes the north pole coming closer to the coil. Okay, here whatever the EMF is induced, that will apply repulsive force on north pole of the magnet moving towards the coil. That is, face of the coil facing north pole will behave as north pole, hence it has induced current in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, it is shown by this notation. Okay, can you see the red symbol here? It represents north pole. Okay, if it is the face which is facing towards the magnet is north pole, then the current flow in the coil will be anti-clockwise direction. Further, if the north pole of the magnet is moved away from the coil, okay, here the magnetic flux is decreasing. Due to this magnetic flux decreasing, an EMF is induced in the coil, and this EMF will oppose the change in decreasing magnetic flux. According to Lenz's law, induced EMF opposes north pole of the magnet moving away from it. That is, face of coil facing north pole will behave as south pole, and hence it has induced current in clockwise direction. See, the face which is towards the north pole now behaves as a south pole. That means it is applying attractive force on north pole of the magnet. Hence, we can say that the induced current will be flowing in clockwise direction. Okay, symbolically it is shown by this, so that you can remember how the current is induced when north pole is moved towards the coil or away from the coil. Okay, if you replace polarities, instead of north pole, if you are moving south pole, then the two cases will be opposite. Finally, we can conclude that induced current always opposes the cause producing it. Second point, this opposition against which we perform mechanical work to bring the change in magnetic flux. That means it is the opposition which is against the mechanical work done on the magnet to bring change in magnetic flux. Third point, it is the mechanical energy which is getting converted into electrical energy. Okay, here mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. Okay, by this we can say that Lenz's law is in accordance with the law of conservation of energy. See here, mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. That means one form of energy is converted into another form of energy. Hence we say that Lenz's law is in accordance with law of conservation of energy. Thank you, students. In the next class, we will be studying some more topics.